the temple's curse. Deep in the jungles of Cambodia stood an ancient temple, abandoned for centuries. Locals whispered warnings about it, how those who entered never returned, how strange lights flickered in its windows at night, how the stone guardian's eyes seemed to follow anyone who came too close. "Stay away from the temple of the sleeping god," the village elder warned. "What rests there must never be disturbed." But Marcus didn't believe in superstitions. He was a treasure hunter, and he'd heard rumors of priceless artifacts hidden within the temple's inner sanctum, golden idols, jeweled crowns, riches beyond imagination. One moonless night, Marcus arrived at the temple with his flashlight and backpack. The massive stone entrance loomed before him, covered in vines and carved with warnings in an ancient script he couldn't read. The air felt thick, oppressive, as if the jungle itself was holding its breath. He stepped inside. The temple was silent, too silent. No insects, no birds, not even the sound of wind. Just his footsteps echoing off stone walls covered in faded murals depicting people screaming, running, faces twisted in terror. Marcus's flashlight beam cut through the darkness as he descended deeper. The air grew colder with each step, his breath coming out in visible puffs. Finally, he reached the inner chamber. There, on an altar surrounded by centuries of dust, sat a golden statue of a sleeping god, eyes closed, hands folded, serene. Around its neck hung a massive ruby that glowed faintly in the darkness, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Jackpot," Marcus whispered, reaching for the ruby. The moment his fingers touched it, the temperature plummeted. His flashlight flickered and died. In the sudden darkness, he heard it. A long, slow breath, like something enormous waking from an endless sleep. Marcus fumbled for his phone, turning on its light with shaking hands. The statue's eyes were now open, staring directly at him. He stumbled backward, his heart hammering. "It's just a trick of the light," he told himself, but his voice sounded hollow, unconvincing. He pried the ruby free and shoved it in his backpack. Behind him, he heard stone grinding against stone. He spun around. The chamber's entrance was sealing itself, the massive door slowly closing. Marcus ran, but the temple had transformed. Hallways stretched impossibly long, stairs led nowhere, doorways opened into walls. He was trapped in a maze that hadn't existed moments before. Then he heard footsteps behind him, heavy, slow, deliberate. And breathing, that same deep, ancient breathing, getting closer. "Who dares steal from the sleeping god?" The voice boomed through the temple, shaking dust from the ceiling. Marcus sprinted blindly through the darkness, the footsteps gaining on him. His phone light caught glimpses of shadow, something massive moving through the corridors, something that had been carved in stone but was stone no longer. He burst into another chamber and froze. Bodies, dozens of them, perfectly preserved, faces frozen in expressions of pure terror, hands reaching toward the exit they never reached. Other thieves, other non-believers. "No, no, no!" Marcus scrambled backward as the temperature dropped so low his breath turned to ice crystals. The entity entered the chamber, a towering figure of living stone, the sleeping god awakened, eyes burning with ancient fury. It moved toward Marcus with terrifying inevitability. "Please!" Marcus threw the ruby at its feet. "Take it back, I'm sorry!" The god stopped, tilted its head. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding millstones. "The ruby you may return, but you have seen what must remain hidden. You have disturbed eternal sleep." A massive stone hand reached for him. Marcus screamed. 3 weeks later, a group of hikers found the temple entrance. Inside, they discovered something that made them flee back to the village, a new statue in the Chamber of the Damned, so lifelike it seemed about to scream. A man in modern clothes, backpack still on his shoulders, mouth open in terror, hands reaching desperately for an exit he never reached. Perfectly preserved in stone, and around his neck, the glowing ruby had been carefully placed, a warning to all who might follow. The village elder came to seal the entrance with new warnings. As he worked, he heard it. That slow, satisfied breathing from deep within as the sleeping god returned to its slumber. The temple was forbidden for a reason. Marcus learned that lesson too late. Some doors should never be opened. Some sleep should never be disturbed. And some treasures cost far more than their worth. The end.